So this conversation of Shiba Inu getting to $1, where it started and where it is now, obviously is not at the same spot. Can Shiba Inu get to $1? Yes. What's the likelihood of Shiba Inu getting to $1? And that has completely shifted, completely changed from the moment we started to where we are now. So while you were here and you were like, it's in the beginning stages, right? Shiba Inu just had its run, it had a burn. We have an ecosystem established, we have a community, all of that stuff. The idea of it getting to $1 is fresh, and it can happen because you see the potential in the burns and all that stuff, in potential utility and businesses that are created to create more burns, all of that stuff. But then now you look at it and you're like, where did the time go? Where are these businesses that we thought we would see? Where's the leadership that we thought we would see? Where's the constant burns that we thought we would see? And now that percentage of like, hey, this has a 10% chance maybe of getting to $1 to now having a 0.0001% chance of ever reaching that point. And honestly, people not even banking on it reaching that point. So I want to talk about that in this video and how things have shifted and what I think about it as well. So I want you guys to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos. Also, I want you guys to check out my link for DFlow down below. Is a platform that offers you up to a 40x leverage. You can also invest in cryptocurrency outright. You can also invest into stocks and equity, and you can do high risk trading. So if you're interested in high risk trading, maybe like $5, $10 here, you can do that and see the different ones that are 13 days created, 13 hours created, or ones that have massive gains within them if you guys want to give them a look. Now, know that it is high risk and it's going to be very difficult for you to make money on every single trade. You probably will lose a lot, and it's more of a gambling mindset than anything. So what I recommend is futures. Try to figure out your best strategy, be able to make money, and go from there. But it is a great platform. Feel free to check it out. Link will be at the top of the description. Now, Shiba Inu currently stands at 0.000013. You can see my balance. I still hold 93.5 million Shiba Inu, and I have more over on crypto.com that I haven't transferred over here. And it says that I'm up $471. That's not accurate. I invested $2,000 at a level of 0.00002. So I had 100,000 or 100 million that is here, about 100 million. And that's kind of where my cost basis is. But where we are, we're not talking about just my position. I just wanted to show you guys where it is. It currently does sit at I believe, a $7.9 billion market cap. It has $245 million worth of volume. So it still has a level of popularity. I don't want anybody to say that this is not popular and that it's not going to be able to grow, because it will. But the conversation has definitely shifted from getting to $1 to getting to a higher market cap and being worth more market cap wise, because of multiple factors. And I kind of want to get into those. So just think about it. When we first started Shiba Inu, the conversation was all around burns, right? Not saying when we first started, but when we first started reviewing it and talking about it and all of that, the conversation was all around burns. The community, the leadership, and I'll put it in quotes, leadership to burn Shiba Inu was definitely a big deal. And the businesses that were created to burn it, it was definitely a big deal. But that all fell through. And all of those things are the reason why it went from 10% chance of getting to $1 to a 0.00001% chance of getting to $1. And now you're kind of looking for just that market cap, right? So the initial burn that was from Vitalik, right? I feel like you saw that and you thought, hey, we can see burns. It's possible. We can essentially see it from bigger holders, or we can create something to create revenue to burn. And that's what was being done. The community decided to band together, create businesses, whether it's a coffee company, whether it's the gaming company, whether it's YouTube channels that are farming views, or even bigger entertainment, or anything else under the sun that we were looking to burn Shiba Inu with. The problem with that, then why the community dwindled down, because it has dwindled down. Why the businesses and the community has dwindled down a little bit, is because of the ecosystem dev team, right? The ecosystem dev team basically said, look, we don't partner with any of these businesses. We don't believe in any of these businesses. Any business that's created outside of what we create is a scam. Saying something like that is ridiculous, because that destroys anything that was created in the community, and it gives all the power to them, to which they did nothing with, right? And to say they care about Shiba Inu so much, it was just not, it was something that people believed because it came from them and they had the most followers and they were the loudest, and that's just how that went. But that destroyed the community in a way. Yes, the community is larger. We have a lot more holders than we had in the beginning, but at what cost, right? We could have had so many more burns that have gone through with the development of these businesses and adding more to the table. Like, you had serious voices that were ready to burn Shiba Inu, and not necessarily burn their own, but burn their revenue and burn a portion of the revenue. Yes, at some point they're gaining a following, they're gaining traction off of that, but the more traction they gain, the more Shiba Inu that's burnt. That's how that goes, right? And that all went through because of the ecosystem dev team. That's one reason to why now those burns and the ability to get to $1 has dwindled down significantly. And another reason would be just the burns in general, right? Burns have fallen off because of the fact that while we believe the ecosystem dev team was going to burn, and I call them the ecosystem dev team because they didn't create Shiba Inu, they don't manage Shiba Inu, they don't do anything for Shiba Inu, they manage the ecosystem that they created, right? So you're talking about this team that decided, we're going to launch Shibarium, we're going to launch Bone, we're going to launch Leash, we're going to launch all of these things that claim they do so much for Shiba Inu. However, so many people were blind to the fact that they were creating around it, but nothing ever went back to Shiba Inu. Nothing for Leash from SHIB, the SHIB community, everything went outward. If you're creating a web in any way, there's no arrow back to Shiba Inu. No benefits back to Shiba Inu. The community decided to buy Leash. The community decided to buy Bone. The community decided to be a part of Shibarium. The community decided to buy the metaverse lands. The community benefited, the ecosystem dev team benefited so many ways because of the ecosystem, because of the community itself, the Shiba Inu community, and they never brought anything back to SHIB. So we pressured them to burn, and they essentially started burning, but then they stopped burning. And while they said that Shibarium was going to create all these burns and do so much for SHIB and all this stuff, it never really did much. I can't say it didn't do anything, because they did something. But then when they realized that it was affecting their own position, their own project, they cut that off immediately. So what I want to say is, while all these things you can break up into different sections and say that it's because of the burns, it's because of the dwindling community, it's because of the losing interest and all that stuff, right? You can all tie that directly back to the ecosystem dev team. That's clear as day. They decided to destroy a community because they wanted financial gain with their NFTs and with their metaverse lands and with their Bone and Leash and an offering of books that smell like something or whatever it is, right? They wanted to sell you on all of these things so that they can make money, while we kind of suffered or believed that Shiba Inu would get there because of what they're doing. No, we were doing the right thing. They shut it down, and we believed them that they were going to get us to the promised land. So that's kind of the reason why you're not seeing SHIB to $1 as much, if any, right? And the only time you would see is a couple of videos that I'm here talking about it. It's sad. It really is sad, with the fact that the community was pushed or suppressed by this ecosystem dev team that just said, no, if they're not created by us, they're a scam. We could have had so many more burns. We could have had so much more success with Shiba Inu in the bear market to create a much larger bull market. Now, I'm not saying that Shiba Inu won't have success. It will. You look at the meme coin market, it's an ever-growing market. It's currently at $73.75 billion for a market. Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Pepe, Bonk, Pudgy Penguins, Floki, and others, right? The entire market's worth $73.75 billion. That's a lot. But it also means that you now have competition. There's a large market share. So is somebody really going to hold Shiba Inu to say, I'm going to wait for this to get to $1? Or are you going to find the next biggest thing, the next big play that can come in that's worth $100 million that could potentially go to a $1 billion mark or a $2 billion mark? That could be the next dog with hat. That could be the next Pepe. That's what takes away from Shiba Inu. So will Shiba Inu get to $1? And this is the answer, right? There's a difference between the question that's asked. Can it get to $1? Yeah, there's a situation out there to where it can. Will it get to $1? No. I don't believe it will. Not saying I'm closing the door completely, but I don't believe it will. And I'm not setting my sights towards only holding that until it gets to a level of $1. If I see something that changes and the community can come back and burn as much as we were burning before, with the growth in the percentage of what we were burning, then yeah, we can change our tune a little bit. But this has, changed my mind from, hey, we can see SHIB to $1 to, well, it's probably a little bit less likely. It's definitely less likely. It's not going to happen, right? That's kind of where you stand. However, an $80 billion market cap is not something that I would say is a failure. A $100 billion market cap is not something that I would say is a failure. And I believe that we could see those, right? Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Pepe get to some of these tens of billions of dollars worth of a market cap. But it's just, we all wanted it to go to that level. We all wanted to see it surpass the level of $1 and be worth more than Dogecoin and be the top cryptocurrency or top meme coin currency that's out there. And it just didn't happen. But it's okay. I still hold my Shiba Inu. I still hold, I don't know if you guys saw it, I still hold 93.5 million plus the amount that I have over in crypto.com. And I plan on seeing some decent gains from that. I plan on seeing them drop a zero and, move from there. So let's see how this all works out. Let's see how much money we do make from Shiba Inu, and let's see the prices that it gets to. If we see more burns, then I will call it out and we'll talk about it. But there isn't much discussion about Shiba Inu to $1 anymore, because now it's outside of kind of that realm of possibility in a way, or reality. So many people aren't mentioning that. Anyways, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.